Ideal City was a pretty fun and relatively interesting event. It was Gavial 2 Electric Boogaloo, because this was another Gavial focused event. And it was a needed break from a serious story. The last few stories that have been events in Arknights have been rather serious, but this one was fairly lighthearted. Despite having some fairly serious stuff in it, it was played for the lightheartedness of Gavial, really. So, story focuses primarily on two characters, which is Operator Minimalist and Gavial. She is the 6-star limited operator for this event, and well, we get to learn a bit more about her, but as we come to find out, she is a relatively static character, and that's a good thing, at least in my opinion. So, Ideal City's a gameplay, and we don't normally talk about the event's gameplay. In this case, I'll make an exception because it had a pretty simple but very useful mechanic, and this is how you do mechanics in Arknights. I want to see more of this going forward. We got a core mechanic, which basically gave us the most broken operator to ever exist. From stunning, to shifting, to freezing, it does all things, including doing big damage. And you really needed it in some stages, and it completely trivialized them. But there were some really difficult stages this event, but with a core and a bit of good luck on your runs, they were all conquered relatively easily. The difficulty isn't quite as bad as Sulty Fair and Avis, but it wasn't a cakewalk either. But what I'm more focused on, the story. Let's just give a quick run through the story, and I'll give some thoughts on it while I'm going through it. So, Stitch comes to the surface of Terra in order to recruit help to repair the rail system down below. As such, he recruits Inam, Tomimi, and Elysium. Tomimi sends a letter to Gavial, exaggerating the seriousness of the situation, so her and Eunectus rush back to give them a hand. On a complete side note, Inam, playable when she looks fantastic, and her sprite is amazing, but she is stuck in NPC hell. And also Tomimi, she has a really nice swimsuit this event, and again, it is not a skin for her. So, Stitch takes the gang down to the Duran City, which is located directly below Gavial's home. Now this is a pretty interesting piece of lore that they've added, and I'm sure if you read some of the Duran Operators files, they would have said it before, but I haven't. And the fact that they live underground versus on the surface in stationary cities is very interesting. But after the gang arrives, they realize the situation isn't quite that bad and spend plenty of time relaxing in the aqua pit that is being built there. On Gavial's way over, she runs into Kozionka, or Posy as I'll probably be referring to her, and after a quick conversation, grabs her and jumps down the waterfall in order to speed up their descent. After arriving, Gavial quickly comes to understand the situation and relaxes with the gang while waiting for the dome to be repaired. During this time, our local Mechanicus member, Eunectus, begins to harass the local robots, quickly becoming friends with them after pleasing their machine spirits. Jokes aside, I actually really do love Eunectus' character in this event, building off her love of machines and proving to be a relatively, I'd say, vital part of this story, convincing the Durans, or at least their creator, that they can be more than just robots to carry out their tasks, they can also be your friend. Stitch, after reuniting with his old friend Catch, decides to challenge him for the right to repair the dome. Though, this is only after hearing what he has in mind, as you can tell by this CG on screen, it is unacceptable to Stitch. But before they can get started on anything, the aqua pit has to be blown up. This is quickly handled, and the gang decide to handle the whole rail situation first before moving on to repairing the dome. As the rail line is located across LA, Gavial and Posy have a race to the other side. Stitch interrupts this using a speedboat, barely beating Gavial despite the mechanical assistance. After reaching the other side, they learn of an exposed Originium deposit, which results in an evacuation being called. The Durans have the choice of using the tunnel, excavating a shelter, or traveling to the surface. Posy rejects the idea of returning to the surface, and Gavial is faced with the dilemma of becoming the local lord in order to ensure that the Durans are safe. However, Tomimi and Eunectus both try to step up and take the position so that Gavial does not have to give up on her own dreams, but in the end, Inam steps up and decides she shall once again step up to the plate and take Gavial's responsibility onto her shoulders. Again, Inam is a really interesting character in her own right, primarily because of how much she takes on for Gavial. If she ever gets an operator, I'll probably give her own specific video. However, I might even have to give her one, maybe in a smaller form. However, another really interesting piece of lore for Duran people is how lightly they take the idea of leaving their homes. They simply accept it in stride and move on with making the city as beautiful as possible. It's not that they're not sad to see their home destroyed. It's just that they love their home so much they will leave them as beautiful ruins for others to find, which is quite inspiring in some ways. The situation regarding the dome's repair must be resolved, as in order to leave their home in as great a condition as possible, it must be fully repaired. Stitch, due to his own inferiority complex, runs off, saying that Cat should design it instead of him, as he is a failure. However, Gavial tracks him down in order to change his mind. As this is happening, Posey is questioning the others' fate in Gavial. During the scene, we get to see a lot of how the others view Gavial. All of them desire to help Gavial for their own reasons. It is because of Gavial's shonen protagonist-like ability to affect others while remaining the same herself that they respect her so much. The others, upon seeing the outside world and the despair and destruction that can be caused, were all changed. They all recognize the dangers of the world. However, Gavial, despite this, remains the same person she has always been, which, admittedly headstrong, but with her heart in the right place, the others are completely dedicated to helping her. Even Posey comes around to her and recalls her past to the Durans in order to convince them to relocate to the surface. Stitch's inferiority complex makes him unable to design anything. However, Gavial, using her nature as a medic, attempts to drag out his true ability while also hoping to understand him in order to help him move beyond this. It really shows, despite how powerful and destructive she can be, how much she cares about those around her. In addition to this, Stitch, who as an infected has a greatly reduced lifespan, deeply appreciates his mentor, which is how he developed his inferiority complex. However, with the help of Catch and Gavial, he realizes that if he never tries in the first place, he'll never have a chance to surpass his master, and as such becomes the head architect of this city and takes on the repair of the dome. After a unanimous vote, the Durans decide to go to the surface, and so after a month's time, the city is completely evacuated and all the Durans come to the surface. Now, I do have some complaints about how the story goes, but it's very interesting that the story chooses not to focus on the evacuation and instead focuses on the situation that leads up to the repair of the dome. It's quite an interesting way to look at it, as it is a massive disaster that is facing these people, but due to many factors such as the Durans' lighthearted nature, it doesn't really affect them in a world-shattering way, and they greatly appreciate the hospitality shown to them by Gavial's people. But that's about it, really. The story is very simple, very straightforward in this one. There isn't any deep emotional beats. It's simply an interesting summer event, really. And that's okay. Not every event has to be about a massive world-ending disaster or something that could destroy everything. This is a nice continuation of the Great Chief Returns event. Gavial as a character isn't dark and brooding, so it makes sense that she would have events that are lighthearted based around her. And so finishing up, I really enjoyed this event, and it was a good look into a kind of underrated race. There isn't many Duran operators in the game, but it is quite nice to be able to see some extra lore about these people. And at the same time, it also builds on existing characters like Gavial, Eunectus, and Tomimi. So I want to check out. I hope you have a good day, and you should all be good people. I'll talk to you later.